Okay, guys, let's just get right into it. Can we talk about how weird it is to like anime now? It's so crazy because not long ago, liking anime was genuinely embarrassing. Like, it was actually the way that everyone would gatekeep their interest in anime. And it's sad too because you would get bullied for liking anime. I have like vivid memories of people pointing out those who explicitly liked anime and they'd be like, "Are you gonna Naruto run down the hallway?" And what was such a jump scare is that they actually would. Like they actually would start doing the Naruto run, or they'd be like, "Datsubayo," and it's like, oh, like just thinking about it right now is so suffocating. Like it's actually so cringe. And like, so as a result, we were all guilty by association. Like if they started doing weird stuff, they would look at the other people who liked anime like, y'all do that? Like, it's such a like weird thing to say out loud because it's actually not that big of a deal. But back then, being out and proud about liking anime meant that you were automatically branded the weird kid. You were automatically ostracized, cast into the corner. Ain't nobody want to play with you. No one wants to deal with you. That's just it. So imagine all that and being a Black girl. Personally, I was just not about to take that L because I knew it was going to be a social death sentence. And it was already hard enough being a dark-skinned Black girl in a Canadian school system where racism was very rampant, but was not going to add me liking anime to the other issues that I was dealing with. All I could do is keep it quiet and watch Kaleido Star in secret. Once I got home, that was not something that I was discussing with anybody else in school. That's why it's so interesting because fast forward to today, everybody is an anime fan. Anime is everywhere. It's in fashion, it's in music, it's in the culture, which should be great, right? And yet, funny enough, somehow being a fan is still so hard, just in a completely different way. So clearly, I like anime a lot. But honestly, lately being an anime fan is actually atrocious. Yeah, it's terrible. And in this video, I'll be talking about the recommendations, the fan bases, people's inability to accept criticism, and just the general lack of room for actual discussion. It's like if you don't worship every single frame of animation like it's the second coming of Jesus Christ, you're either a fake fan or a hater. So let's just jump right into it. My first issue are the recommendations that anime fans offer. Like, there are so many classics. We got Cowboy Bebop, we got Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, and even the newer stuff like The Apothecary Diaries, Frieren. There are so many good animes that you could recommend to someone who might be new to the space, or maybe they're already an anime fan, but they're just looking for new things to watch. There are just so many great entry points or classics that are worth revisiting. So why is it that when people, and when I mean people, I'm gonna be real with you, I mean men. When men recommend anime to the new user or to just the average anime fan, it's always gotta be something crazy. It's never, wow, you would love the character depth in Orange. Instead, it's, have you tried Redo of Healer? It's like, are you trying to get put on a list? And it's sad for me to have to generalize that it's primarily men, but from my experiences, as well as from the experiences that I've heard from many other average anime fans, including men, it's always other men who are recommending the scariest. Like, you just won't hear the average woman who's into anime be like, wow, I just love that anime about the teacher who's obsessed with his minor student. It's like, we're not watching that.
I'm not watching that.
So why would you recommend that? It's frustrating because there's this whole library and list of beautiful, emotional, genre-defining anime that you can recommend, and yet you recommend some borderline illegal stuff and you expect people to enjoy that? All it does is make me look at you like, police, we gotta lock this one up because this is not a regular individual.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Help!
It's like if someone was saying, wow, you know, I'm not really into movies, what would you recommend? And you have this entire catalog in front of you and you're like, I feel like you would really enjoy The Human Centipede. What are we doing here? It just makes me understand why a lot of people who aren't into anime avoid the arts altogether, because the things that they might have been introduced to or the things that they see are scary. They're disgusting. We're finally at a point where you can say that you like anime without getting your head shoved into the damn toilet. And yet, now that we're finally given this breathing room, you use this space to recommend something that belongs in an FBI secret database. What is wrong with you? And so I feel like that is one of the things that really makes being an anime fan so terrible, because not only is there content like this readily available, but there are people who are watching it and recommending it. Like, that to me makes my toes, like my fingers are literally clenching up because I'm just so embarrassed. Now listen, I can't talk about the anime fandom without bringing up something even darker: the racism. It is brutal out here. People love to act like anime fans are just this big, welcoming community, which obviously they can be, but the second a Black person specifically shows up, it's hostility on 10.
Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight.
Like, God forbid a Black cosplayer dresses up as their favorite character. You'll see comments like, "That's not accurate," or "Cosplay someone your own race." Like, excuse me, they're literally cosplaying a fictional character. Nobody is accurate. I feel like the hate that the average Black cosplayer gets online and in person is discouraging enough to cause someone to just not want to participate in this at all, which again, very unacceptable. It's so jarring because it's actually just as bad when it comes to the arts. For example, recently, or sometime last year, an artist designed the characters for Dan to Dan as Black characters, I believe, or specifically the main male lead. In the beginning, there was such a positive reception to it because it was such a cool interpretation of the characters of Dan to Dan. And what's so exciting is that the English voice actor actually even hyped it up too, which I thought was really cool. But the backlash was so insane. The racism was just out of pocket. People were coming out of nowhere saying, "Stop making characters Black." People were saying that making anime characters Black is what ruins the design.
You get in my face with that, I'll beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch. You piece of shit.
It generally became such a personal attack for a lot of anime fans for no reason. Here's the thing, like, anime is global now. Of course, there are going to be Black people who consume it as well. And regardless, Black fans, we've been here. Whether we've been out front about our passion for anime or we're, hiding it like I was to avoid getting bullied, like, we've just always been here. How many Black fans were there watching Dragon Ball Z when it wasn't cool yet? So it's just so wild and unacceptable that in 2025, in this big year, people still act like there being Black fans or Black people who consume anime is such an atrocious thing. The fact that we are still fighting for basic decency to exist in these spaces is embarrassing. Like, it's actually disgusting. And it's so ironic because people will cheer for like Killer Bee in Naruto or Yoruichi in Bleach, but the second a real Black fan shows up in support of this artistry, it's like, whoa, 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 not you though. Like, I'm okay with the digital versions of you, but the actual real person, we can't have that. So unfortunately, anime doesn't just have a criticism problem, it also very clearly has a racism problem too. And until people can accept that fandom is for everybody, it's always going to feel hostile for people who don't fit that narrow definition that can safely consume anime. With that being said, that ties into my next point of how anime fans can't take criticism. I feel like this is where I might lose some of you guys, but I genuinely believe that a lot of anime fans cannot take criticism. Not one bit. Like, if you say one bad thing about a popular anime, especially a shonen right now, you immediately become public enemy number one. Like, that's it for you. Wrap it up. You gotta go. People are gonna get you out of there. People literally jump down your throat as if you've attacked their entire childhood. But honestly, here's why. Anime isn't just entertainment for a lot of people. It becomes their entire identity. They grew up on anime, it's their comfort, their community, the thing that made them feel understood, which is completely valid. So when you say, "This writing was weak," they don't hear criticism of the writing. They hear, "You're insulting me. You're insulting my taste. You're insulting my culture. You're insulting my identity." And that's why the reactions tend to just be so over the top. If I say, "Dang, a lot of animes treat their female characters terribly," the way that I risk getting spat on, I honestly feel like someone would rip my glasses off and smash them. Like, The reaction is just so aggressive. Loving something doesn't mean pretending that it's perfect. You can admit that Jujutsu Kaisen fumbled season 2. You can admit that certain animes treat their female characters like garbage. You can still enjoy the anime and still say, yeah, they could have done better with this. That doesn't mean that you hate the medium. It means that you care enough to want it to do better. The absolute refusal to accept any critique is why these anime tropes never change. They are never going to change if people are constantly like, yeah, I love that. Meanwhile, it was garbage because the loudest fans and the loudest supporters and those that continue to buy these mangas and animes act like any sort of criticism is like a sacrilege. It's okay to say, you know what, I actually don't want to see 40 different panty shots of someone who just so happens to be 4,000 years old but is in the body of a 12-year-old. You don't need to take that criticism as a personal attack. We want better, so we're speaking up about it. It's unfortunate because I do feel like the fandom does try to avoid even basic critique. It's like if you say anything negative, they're like, you don't get it. No, I do get it, and that's why I'm saying something about it. I'm obviously going to continue to watch anime, but I do feel like these are some really bad issues within the anime fan base, and that's not even all of it. Like, I primarily talked about people watching and endorsing very disgusting animes, as well as just people being so against criticism and the ability to actually have a wholesome, nurturing environment where people can just discuss the things that they like or dislike without getting thrown into the garbage. However, there are quite a few other issues within the anime fandoms, and honestly very unfortunate because we're finally freed from getting ostracized in real time, and yet online, people just don't know how to behave. And yes, the shows are easier to access, and the culture of watching anime and enjoying anime is a lot more accepted than it used to be. But the communities, oh my gosh, still hostile, still toxic, still scared of basic conversations. And that's the sad part because I feel like we could have really cool discussions. Look at all the anime edits and the things that people are able to conjure up because of their passion for anime, as well as their creativity and just being able to visualize the things that they want to see. Imagine if we could apply that same creativity and passion into our discussions about it. We would be able to talk about what makes a great arc, what shows handle trauma well, which writers genuinely respect their characters. But instead, it's just arguments and insults because you said, hey, maybe that anime with the underage demon waifu isn't a masterpiece. Anyways, thank you so much for letting me rant about anime. And if you have any good recommendations that you could share with me, I would really appreciate that. Or comment below an anime that everyone swore was the best anime, and yet you watched it and you were like, this is terrible. No shame here. Let's start a conversation. I would love to have everyone discuss their thoughts and just to engage because I really feel like we got a really solid community going on here. And I would love to know your thoughts as well as any comments or critiques that you have. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!